Welcome to WeTaku Anime Reviews, your weekly show where four guys with varying levels of webcam, Thomas, come to you and talk about all things anime. I'm one of your hosts, Jovan, and with me are my three co-hosts. Please introduce yourselves.
I'm Thomas, and my colors are off today, so I went black and white.
I'm Steven, and I quite enjoy how we've stopped claiming to have PhDs in certain anime genres.
1 second, I need to find my PhD. Now I have to find it.
I have my Pop-Tart and Blueberry genre.
I have a signed figure by Dragon Ball characters, and I guess that counts.
I have a bobblehead.
See, look,
Good.
we're all on working our way up.
Yeah, see? He's so happy with that picture, guys. You don't even know.
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. Is it a spoiler? Because I feel like the picture. Yep, it's a spoiler.
Now that you mention it.
Oh, well.
It's only a spoiler if you know it's being spoiled. Yeah, there's no context. It's fine. So, that brings us to what we're reviewing today. Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, brought to you by Ufotable, the lovely, lovely people behind Fate Zero, which, you know, yeah. Before I get into the show, no, first things first. Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works is the second route of the Fate universe, of the Fate Stay Night franchise. The first one being animated by Dean Studios, which wasn't up to standards, we'll say. That's not true.
No. What?
There's a movie called Unlimited Blade Works that follows this route. It's an hour and 40 minutes, I want to say. It's like 50 minutes, never mind. That's done by Dean Studios. It's not that good either. Don't watch it. Watch this instead. The point being is,
I don't think you can fit this in 50 minutes.
you can't, is the moral of the story. So, long story short, this is somewhat of a sequel. Maybe not a sequel, as it takes place instead of the Fate universe, but it does require a little bit of prerequisite knowledge of the universe. So if you haven't watched Fate Zero, I recommend you do not go into our spoiler section and instead watch Fate Zero before you decide anything about Unlimited Blade Works. That said, let's actually talk about the premise, for those of you who are just scratching your heads going, what are you talking about? Unlimited Blade Works, or the Fate universe as a whole, is a show in which 7 mages come together in a random city in Japan and summon heroes from the past. These heroes can be anyone you've really ever heard of, mentioning, but not limited to, King Arthur, Hercules, Joan of Arc,
Alexander the Great,
etc.,
some
etc.
Irish guy.
Some Irish. The Irish guy's my favorite hero in all of mythology. Wait a second.
Come on.
I didn't know who he was.
I actually really love him. Mythology, fun fact, I'm a history major, so this is, like, I love this, all of it, so much.
Also,
I was right.
It's kind of a spoiler that we're mentioning who the people are.
Well, I mentioned people from different Grail Wars, and some from this one. Yeah, but the point being, some. I mixed them in, which means you don't know. Yeah, it's fine. Hell, Joan of Arc isn't even summoned except in a visual novel. A light novel. So y'all don't even know about that one. The Buddha was summoned once. That was fun. Not the point.
That's
point
awesome.
Being, 7 mages, random city in Japan, summon heroic spirits to fight for them. What they fight for, it's a fight to the death, mostly. Fight to the death between the spirits, at least. Sometimes the mages live, sometimes they don't. For the Holy Grail, the all-powerful wish-granting device that will grant any wish. Yeah, it sums itself up really well. We follow main character Shiro, Emiya Shiro, as he and his summoned servant, an unnamed hero of the Saber class, fight their way to the Grail. And that is the premise that I think we can give you. Anybody want to add on to that? Oh, yeah, fair enough. There are seven classes that people are summoned into, and those are Saber, Archer, Berserker, Lancer, Assassin, Caster, and Rider.
Yeah, I'll add on to that. So in this universe, like no one knows that mages exist. I think that's a good one to start with.
Very
And
cool.
then Shiro just goes to school. He knows mages exist, but he's a very weak one. His father was a great one, and oh no, sorry, his father was also kind of weak, but he taught him like what was important about magic, and then no one really knows even the people who are participating in the war that aren't Shiro barely know anything about the Holy Grail.
Man, I wish I had
Yeah.
a Twitch chat to tell me my mic was still muted the entire time.
So have you just been quiet to the
Yup.
world?
Yup.
All right, Allan's back. Hello. Whatever he said, I hope it wasn't that important.
Nah, I don't think I said anything too important.
Alrighty. Well, anywho, moving on. You guys can figure out whatever the hell Allan said off of our context clues responding to him, I guess. It's going to be a fun mystery for the world. But yeah, off of that, Shiro, during the 0th episode of the show, so I don't feel like this is too much of a spoiler, he gets stabbed by Lancer without entering the Grail War. After that, he gets saved, enters the Grail War, and that's kind of where we pick up off. It should be noted that Shiro, while being the main character, is not the main character for the first, or I guess 0th episode. And that is the deuteragonist and female protagonist, Rin Tosaka, who also factors very, very, very heavily into the show.
Yeah.
If that premise sounds cool to you, and I promise it super duper is, then I think you should definitely go in. Other things we can talk about here is the fact that Unlimited Blade Works was known colloquially as Unlimited Budget Works for most people watching it as it came out, because holy goodness,
It's beautiful. Oh,
it is
Yeah.
gorgeous.
My face is a good 1080p.
Well,
Your face is-
yes.
However, your face is a still. The actual movement, the animation, the combat, oh my lord, the fighting, holy please God, thank you. Episode 3, the reason I have a Crunchyroll subscription is because after watching episode 3 not in HD, I immediately put down money so that I could watch it in HD. Afterwards, and this is while it was coming out, so I couldn't go watch episode 4 or anything, I watched episode 3 every single day for the entire week. Because that fight is the most gorgeous fight I have ever seen of anything until some of the later fights in this show.
That's
Yeah.
Archer Lancer fight.
Saber Berserker.
Mm.
So
Yeah. It's one of the most beautiful things you'll ever watch, probably. Unless animation just keeps getting wildly better, because as of now, this is kind of the pinnacle. And
It doesn't get better.
yeah.
So do we want to
Oh.
like say whether or not, we recommend her or whatever?
All right, going around the table. Yes, hell yes. Oh my God, yes, please, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would highly recommend it. I didn't like the original one too much, and it really put me off from this. But I would say that you should watch the original and then watch this. It's worth it. So I recommend it.
If you've watched the original and been put off from it, you shouldn't be. Definitely go back to it. And yeah, I also haven't watched the original. Because I was told it was bad long time ago before this was even announced,
And to
so
be
I
fair, it
never
was.
bothered with it. But yeah, I think watching the original is probably, fair, but definitely watch Fate Zero first as well. It's also absolutely beautiful, mind you. So
Win-win.
yes, it's a very strong recommendation.
And I recommend it wholeheartedly. I'd honestly say, and people are gonna yell at me for this, but you could watch Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night in either order, because no matter which order you watch it in, the other's gonna be better for you.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
Yeah.
actually very true. Chronologically, it's Fate Zero, then Unlimited Blade Works, but both have hold secrets for the other one.
Yeah.
Personally, I believe it should be Zero, then Unlimited Blade Works, but I can definitely see the argument Alan's making.
I would say that the original show, then Fate Zero, then Unlimited Blade Works, is probably the best way. Like, it came out in that order because Unlimited Blade Works does have a few more spoilers for Fate Zero than the original did for Fate Zero, even though like Fate Zero is the prequel.
I would say if Heaven's Feel was actually animated in any shape or form, I'd say watch the 3 Fate Stay Nights first, and then Fate Zero. But that is not the case, so whichever one you want.
Heaven's Feel will be coming out later, and that is the third route. Yeah, it'll be coming out later in 2017, so I'm looking forward to that.
Have faith, people.
Is
That's
that
so
is
much
that the rest of the VN?
Yeah, that's the last arc,
Okay.
or the last route, which I have no idea how they're going to animate it, but that's not what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
So, before we go into the spoiler section, I want to say two other things. One, we talked about the animation. Also, the soundtrack is bloody fantastic. It's incredible. One of my biggest gripes of the shows is just that my favorite song didn't play enough because we had to play other songs that were also very good. So, that's a good recommendation. And the second thing I want to say is, it should be noted that before we go into the spoiler section and have our discussion with the ability to actually talk about what happens in the show, Allan and I are both some of the Type Moon universe and the Fate universe's largest fans. Is a subtle way to put that. We both have read the entire visual novel. We know almost everything that's come out of that author. I think Allan probably knows a little bit more than I do. We have figured out how to go through the hell that is the Fate Wiki, which, by the way, I do not recommend to anybody. We went into the show already knowing all of the plot twists, all of the spoilers, everything there was to know about it. So we were kind of critiquing it from the view of superfans watching one of their favorite things come to life. Stephen and Thomas, on the other hand,
Knew almost nothing about it.
knew almost nothing about it. Tom, did you know the big plot twist?
Yeah, I had heard, someone had told me the big plot twist for Unlimited Blade Works beforehand. I think it was you, actually.
Sorry,
Because I asked for it. I didn't think that
you were gonna
at
go
the
back,
time
yeah.
Unlimited Blade Works wasn't even announced, so I was like, I don't
It
care.
was like 5 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
There is no one on this podcast who went in completely blank.
And
That
yeah,
said, Allan and I spent a lot of time on the forums watching people who went in blank, and it was hilarious.
I also knew the plot twist because, as I had mentioned, this hadn't been announced, and everyone talked crap about the original, so like it was hard to avoid just hearing about it from friends and whatnot. So
I would say, if you actually know nothing about this series, go and watch it. Really go and watch it before the spoiler section. Like, I know some people like to just get the full opinion from the spoiler section. Please don't.
don't leave
Some
now.
of the revelations are if you hear them blind. I still remember the first time I found out just from like visual noveling, and it was great for me. And I can imagine like watching the show with the quality of the show. I prefer anime over visual novels all day, every day. I can imagine that's a million times better feeling. So just right now, before we count down the spoiler section, get out, leave. You can pause the video. Just pause the video right now. Get out. Go watch the entire show. We'll still be waiting. You can give us a second view. That's fine.
You could, if you don't want to give us a second view, you could just pause it, go watch, and leave the
Marathon
tab
the entirety
open.
of UBW. Yeah, and then come back.
I also want to mention that the show seems long at first because the first 2 episodes and the 4th episode are all 1 hour long episodes.
The 12th
but
episode is the other hour long.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
but
They're 3.
everything else is
yeah.
just a normal length.
Yeah, episode 0, episode 1, and episode 12 are all an hour long. Everything else is the regular length. And those hour long, while they might seem a little bit slow at first, they make it so that the rest of the show does not have to be slow. And for me, it's honestly definitely worth it.
Yeah.
And to be fair, they're a lot faster than the first hour-long episode of Fate Zero, which... Not a fan. Alright, with all that in mind, I think we're ready to jump into the spoiler section. So, we just gave a big spiel about it. If you haven't seen it yet and you might maybe want to watch it, leave now. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the spoiler section, and with that, as with always, and this question is the most important question I'll ever ask in this specific show, who was best girl? I'm ready to pick a fight, Tom. I'm gonna be the first one to answer this. Usually I wait for you guys, then I go, no. Listen here, you little shits.
No,
all of you.
I think you should just let me, you, and Allan say it in unison.
3, 2, 1. Rin.
Rin.
You guys are slow. You guys are slow.
It
Rin
ain't Rin.
Osaka.
It's not Rin.
Yeah. No, shut up, Thomas. Listen here, I can write dissertations
It's okay.
on why Rin
if
is
his
best girl.
if his answer is fucking Archer, I'm okay with it.
Or if it's Lancer, it's probably also fine. But that's not the point. The point being, I see that face, I can't wait to get your answer, but not yet. Listen here. Rin Tosaka is my favorite character in just about all of anime. She's, like, if you have a best girl that comes outside a specific anime, outside the specific one question, if you just have, like, a waifu across all things, for me, it's Rin Tosaka. I love her so goddamned much, and I think this show shows her personality really well. In the beginning, she wears a mask. Not a physical mask, but an emotional mask. The whole time, you just see the playful, popular... just the girl who's pushing buttons for the fact that it's hilarious to watch people's buttons be pushed. And who knows who she is and how she's perceived. And all of it just to show, like, how incredible Rin Tosaka is. But every so often, somebody might comment on an aspect of her personality that is genuine, and you see the greatest tsundere girl of all time, and man, am I a sucker for tsunderes. So between the two, and then as the show goes on, you see her more and more transitioned into being the honest Rin as opposed to the masked Rin, while still using the mask when needed or when going out into public. And it's just a really, really, really great character development, an incredible character. And I love her so much. And also, she has a booty shot in episode 3 that's fucking fantastic.
It's two.
And man, I could go on forever.
Counting 0 as 1.
Alright. If you guys thought that Taiga from Toradora was the ultimate in tsundere, nah. It's Rin. Like,
It's Rin.
She hits every
I love her.
possible trope for it. Ever.
I'm gonna
She
argue
does it
that.
all right. She does it all right.
I'm going to argue hits every
She has
possible
a
trope.
personality besides it.
She's
Yeah.
not just defined by being a tsundere.
So does Taiga, I guess, a little bit, kind of.
Less so.
Less so.
And I give
My
Toradora
best-
a 10.
My best girl is a major spoiler, so I wanted to reiterate to stop fucking watching if you want to watch the show. And it's Gilgamesh.
Okay, that's fair.
Though it's colored heavily by the other
Zero.
two shows. Especially Zero.
Yeah.
Gilgamesh is a fucking badass. And the this show did okay with it, like showed him butcher a couple people, which is kind of cool. But I think definitely he took the cake in Fate Zero because he just did not give two fucks. Was like, I am just going to destroy the universe, and you're gonna help me. And they're like, all right. And I don't know. I thought he was really just intimidating. And I love the flaw that he's the best.
Just flat out.
Is Tom okay?
I
Tom
think
throws on he is the best.
Uh,
Alright,
no.
I'll continue his thoughts a little bit here because I have feelings on Gilgamesh. Gil's flaw is that, and we just call him Gil for some reason. Gil's flaw is that he is the best. He's the king of heroes. Is Thomas back? He's moving again.
You're good. You're good.
What
Tom.
just happened?
You,
Tom, you froze? We heard Gil is the best, and then nothing.
I had how long was that? That was like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
yeah.
I started going for you about Gil's fatal flaw, but you can take back.
I was oh my god, I didn't even realize it. All right, shit. He's like a fucking D&D wizard where he's like the weakest when it ever comes to if you can even like get to him, but he's so good at keeping you away from him that he's unstoppable. He just throws swords at you and like unbreakable. However, if you can beat him at his game, he is destroyed.
One
And
of the warnings 5,000 times over.
Archer was the perfect counter to him.
And the only counter to him, it should be noted.
Yeah. Sorry, I just...
But like, I liked Gil a lot too, and like his motive is like, I was the king of all kings. I was the only one living a life of luxury, and now in this world, all of these like peasants are living luxury. I don't like that. I'm gonna kill them all, so I will only live a life of luxury. And like,
it wasn't just that. It was
Man.
like there were so many people that like it back in his time. Like everybody had some worth. Like even the lowest of the low had some worth, but like today like you could kill like probably 1,000 people and like life would move on
without like any meaningful loss to like the economy or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also like the fact that Gil, while sitting on his golden pillar and being a complete jackass, was still undoubtedly human. Sure, he was like a godly human, but there are little moments, such as when he blinds and then stabs Iliasville, or really that moment specifically, or when he leaves the building in ashes just to make a point about how cool he is. That you remember that he is human. He doesn't kill Ilya with pomp or anything. It's a sad little girl who he has to kill so he can get to the Grail, and he just does it. He just does it quietly. He does it like respectfully almost. I mean, he literally rips her heart out of her chest, so it's not, you know, that great. But the kill itself was respectful. He wasn't mocking. He just got his business done.
Unless you watched the movie.
Don't watch the movie.
The movie was really silly.
Yeah, we don't talk about the movie. Stop talking about the movie. The movie didn't happen. We're reviewing the Ufotable work, Unlimited Blade Works. Nothing else is there.
I loved that fact, though, that he killed Ilya still, because I think she was one of the main factors that brought down the original show, because I couldn't stand her. And she brought out, like, all the worst character traits in Shiro, because he's just like, oh, I just gotta coddle her, because, like, he's, like, this big, fuzzy bear father thing, and he just needs to always be hugging something or something like that. I don't know what his problem is. Yeah, he had issues. He still has a few issues, but they worked a lot of them out. But, like, yeah, I love the fact that, like, he cuts her down in front of him, and I was like, where is it going to go from here? That's, like, the moment where I was like, I don't know what this show is anymore, because she's supposed to stay alive. She's supposed to be sacrificed in the end. What's going on? Or not be sacrificed.
Technically speaking, in a matter of speaking, her heart is sacrificed. She just didn't need the rest of the body.
For Shinji.
Yeah.
For Shinji.
Oh, man.
Not for Shinji.
Not for
That's fine.
She was a
Shinji.
treasure.
He had it better off than I thought he did. I thought, like, he got ripped up from the inside. It kind of just, like, used his life essence instead of, like, destroying his entire body, which I expected.
It's a pity that Rin decided to save him, is all I'm going to say.
Shinji was a treasure to this earth. He was
just
kept in the
needs
gate
to
of Babylon.
Guys, if you don't know this yet, once you've watched Heaven's Feel, tell me your feelings about Shinji, because goddamn does that being not deserve to exist on this earth, is all I'm going to say. I think we are getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, though, as we have just talked about the finale of the show. I kind of want to go back to the beginning. I want to go back to a few things and ask about them, because I think this perspective from all three of us is going to be a little bit different, or all four of us, is going to be a little bit different. Of the first episode, the second episode, third episode, right up until the first fight, the first real fight, the first fight that takes an entire episode, it's the exposition episodes. The exposition has cool fight scenes, sure. But from various levels of I know what's going on, how did you guys feel about how the delivery of the Grail War, the systems, everything went? Specifically Kirei's delivery, but also just what you could gather from Rin and Archer's interactions in episode 0.
I thought they were completely necessary.
Yes, I agree.
Well, I had watched Fate Zero, so it's not like I knew nothing about the Grail War. But I do feel like they did a good job of explaining the very basic premise of it, while also leaving a lot to like leaving a lot of it vague and mysterious. But that being said, it's necessary because there's like Kirei himself, of course, is pretty deceitful with it, and so like they needed. I think they did extremely well in that they left a lot of it out.
I actually think they did a better job here than they did in Fate Zero with the explaining, because not only did they explain, well, not just because it wasn't as boring, but like not only did they explain the Holy Grail War and like what it is, but Kirei, what Kirei does when he's explaining it is he tries to like push Shiro towards killing other masters, and like Rin stops him, right? it just sort of shows that you don't have to like do anything. It's completely up to you what you do.
How you play the war, how you play the campaign. It should also be noted, something I thought about it, was that while it took them a few more episodes to get across the entirety of the Grail War, during episodes 0 and 1, before episode 2, in which Kirei just spills the whole thing out and Rin corrects some things, there's still hints being dropped as to the nature of the war. Kirei's voice messages to Rin about who she should summon and why, Rin talking about who she wants to summon, the timing, the ritual in and of itself, and then the dichotomy between Rin's ritual and Shiro's whoopsies, I fell on a magic circle.
Yeah.
So...
I feel like, while it was trying to be a bit ambiguous, it was a little overly so. This is probably one of the main reasons why you should definitely watch something else before watching this, because it kind of throws you under the bus as far as that's concerned. You can kind of see that this is not the first one, this is only the 5th one, even though it has like the feeling that it's been going on for a little while. And I'm not sure they like know like why would any the biggest problem I see with it is at the end you find out that in order to do it, like actually create a wish, it requires sacrifices of like 10,000 people or something like that.
No. What?
No?
It just requires the sacrifices of the holy spirits, that were heroic spirits that were fighting each other, which is kind of the point to begin with.
Yeah, Gilgamesh just wanted to kill everybody.
Gilgamesh's wish was, I'm going to kill everybody. The Grail is corrupt at that point, which is a whole nother in-universe explanation that we're not going to get into.
Yeah, that's actually something I wanted to mention. There's like, even if you do watch all of the anime series, and probably even read the VN, I'm not entirely sure the VN might explain all of it. I haven't read it, but like,
it's pretty good for that one.
Does, but Heaven's Feel's not an anime yet.
Right. Well, so point is, even if you watch all of it, there's going to be a lot that's still just like, wait, well, why is this the way it is? Like, it's still going to be pretty vague.
I think something to take out of Unlimited Blade Works, based on what Steven just said, is the fact that this is neither the first nor the last entry of the series. This show is meant to have, for all intents and purposes, a next season, which is a revamp of it, again, an alternate dimension telling of the same story, but the story will vary very, very differently. But this is not the last telling of Fate, and therefore they have to keep something secret for the last round. Also, they have to go off the assumption that you watched some of the first round.
Yeah.
Because of that, this is not a standalone. It's part of a series.
Yeah.
And I think that's something I really want to get across here before we keep going.
They did their best to make it a standalone, but you will get more out of it if you watch something else first.
I still do. So, like, you were talking about, like, how the Grail got corrupted. Is that explained in Heaven's Feel?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Okay. Because I feel like a lot of things, like, similar things to that may not just be explained very well without going and doing the research on it. And I think that's okay. I'm just saying I think the show's very mysterious, and it really does well for that.
Fate Zero also drops a hint as to how it got corrupted, but just a hint for people who already knew. Nothing more.
Okay.
All right.
It's gotta have something to do with the Iliasville's family, right?
No. That's a whole nother thing as to why they become the Grail.
Yeah.
Same war,
That's
but
also
different reasoning.
Explained in Heaven's Feel.
It's also explained in
But not
Heaven's
here.
Feel. Nope. So it's man. This is what we meant by Allan and I have the answers, but there are some questions
I actually want
that
to ask a
are
question.
presented here.
What did
Yeah.
you guys think of Shiro? Because Shiro's
Oh my
like
God.
the main thing here.
Yeah, so he was a shithole in the original show. However, they did a lot to improve him. He was still thick-headed, an idiot, and willing to die for stupidity. But that was the point of Archer. Because Archer pointed out all the stupid shit that Shiro would do, because he knew it. He was like, you're an idiot, like, this is what you're going to be doing for the rest of your fucking life. And and I think that was necessary. If it weren't for Archer, Shiro would have been a shit character. However, I
That's
think
kind of the point, though.
yeah.
Steven, go first, because I have a thing.
He is main protagonist Kun. Like, he does, like, in a way, he's that trope. He does a lot of what you'd expect a main protagonist to do. He sacrifices himself for other people. However, where he becomes such a good character is, like Thomas said, Archer is that embodiment of that ideal in the future. Like, if you keep doing this, this is what you become. And, like, it's just showing, it's literally showing, hey, this might not be the best thing for you to be doing. So, like, you see him change in a lot of ways. You see Shido change, and Archer as well. But, like, I don't know, he does definitely start as a... I'm not going to say generic, because generic's not the word, but he's doing what a main protagonist would do in just about any other show.
That's true. That said, and I want to mention this because I know Shiro is the biggest turnoff for a lot of people who watched the original Fate. Thomas, I think you gave me like 15 different rants alone as to why you hated Shiro back then, like years ago. Shiro in Unlimited Blade Works, yes, he has flaws, like Thomas pointed out. He's helpful to the point of suicidal, which is the character flaw the show wants him to have. But that's the point. His flaws are the shows that the show has intended for him. It's not like they have flawed. It's not. In the original Fate, Shiro's a sexist piece of shit. He was not useful to anybody. He literally Saber, this all-powerful, like, heroic spirit who's fought off armies by herself before. He's like, no, you cannot fight. You are a woman. I will stand in front of you. There's like a
giant. There's a giant throwing down his sword.
Heracles.
Right
Hercules.
Toward him. Yeah, Heracles. Like, he's like, and then like, she's just decked out in armor and like has her sword up ready and like ready to catch it or parry it and like move it over to the side, and he's just like, nah, I got this. Ah!
And then he gets cut in half.
Yep, he's an idiot.
But it's fine. He heals. But
which they don't explain in Unlimited Blade Works.
They do. They literally do.
In the series?
They do.
That we're reviewing? Yeah. They do.
Yeah. They did.
He has the sheath.
During his fight with Archer. The sheath.
I don't think they mentioned the sheath.
Okay, they don't really explain it.
There's a whole scene. It even glows, and you see it, and
that's what I was going to say.
And Archer says, "Oh yeah, the sheath he put in us."
No, I don't remember him saying it. I remember seeing it.
He says something along the lines of, "The sheath that Kiritsugu put in us to save our lives."
It's still working because he's this close to Saber. Literal words.
Like, I still think it would have been too ambiguous if I hadn't seen anything else on it. Like, I don't think I would have put that together.
Point. You had to watch Fate Zero for that one.
Yeah.
Entirely, because Fate Zero talks in depth about the sheath's healing properties.
And Fate Zero, right?
Because even this saying,
I guess, yeah.
Even this saying, the sheath he put in us to save us, like, if you didn't know what the sheath is, you're just like, wait, what?
What the fuck? That's
but yeah,
fair.
No.
You do have to watch Fate Zero for that. But no, but the point I was trying to get across here was Shiro in the original Fate was garbage, right? There's a moment in the end of episode 2 of Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works in which I realized that they had pushed Shiro into being somebody who's actually like a decent main character that I don't want to kill myself for watching. In the fact that after leaving the church with Kirei, in that moment in the original, he said, "All right, Saber, you're a woman, you can't fight, let me just take this thing on." In that moment, he walks up to Saber and says, "Okay, so you're the heroic spirit and I'm your master? All right, then we're partners." And they just shake hands. And in that moment, he acknowledges, Saber will be fighting the front lines, I will be on the back lines. That is our jobs, that is how this works. I am not as strong as this ancient heroic spirit whose literal only purpose is to fight for me. And that's just... It's a moment where I realize, oh god, thank god, they fixed him. Yeah, they fixed him so much.
Not only that, like, the character flaw of him just throwing himself out there. Like, whenever Rin confronts him about it, he has, like, this awful PTSD face. And it, like, really gets the point across that this is a bad thing about him.
Yeah, it should be a PTSD face. It's not something that, like, a character should be proud of. It's just something that he does, knowing that it's stupid. But
I
that's
was
it's
contemplating
different.
using one of those faces instead of Archer's smile as my
He had like
face.
5 of them lined up, guys. You have no idea, and all of them are terrifying. All right. So after that, battle shenanigans go through. Rin and Shiro become a lot closer. Which, by the way, fun fact: Fate Stay Night visual novel is a technically eroge, and the Unlimited Blade Works is the Rin path. Just putting it out there. So
He sexes her once.
he sexes her once, but he still
Okay.
sexes her.
I wanted to point out the fact that in the original, or no, that in Unlimited Blade Works, they had a few call-outs to Shiro being Archer before it was even revealed. I think the biggest one for me, the one that I thought was like, wow, that was subtle, that was fantastic, I love that, is it talks about how great Archer's eyes are, and then later on in the episode, Shiro's like looking way like over the fence or something like that, and he's like, did you see that over there? And Rin's just like, what? No, you can't, it's so dark, what the fuck, dude, what?
There are other call-outs, some more
I
obvious
just
than
thought that was
others.
my
The
favorite one.
pendant is like
That's
the biggest
probably the
one.
most subtle one. The pendant's a big one. And then there's the show. Okay, so we're just going to move into discussing the fact. Fun fact, everybody. Archer is Shiro from the future who sacrificed his life to become a heroic spirit and regrets literally every moment of it. He regrets it so much he wants to kill Shiro and then kill himself, and hopefully he won't exist anymore. That's how much he hates being a hero. Now, the show drops hints. Some hints are subtle, like Thomas's eyesight thing, which I did not notice, so thank you very much, man. I'm going to look back for that one on my 5th watch through of Unlimited Blade Works. I really like this.
There was like a fucking street sign when they were just standing across from each other that pointed from Shiro to Archer.
That is one. That's maybe one of the best ones. And then there are other moments, such as Shiro and Archer standing back to back, talking about their ideals. Shiro summoning Archer's swords for the first time in the exact same manner that Archer does and fighting off a guy.
Also, that I may be wrong in it, but like Archer's like special ability when he pulls down the bow, I think that's Saber's sword.
No, it's not. It's
No?
Cloudbolg.
It's not.
It's a Germanic sword. No, it's not. He can't actually make Excalibur. He would die, which is briefly mentioned in
doesn't-
UBW, but
He doesn't make anything. He fakes it.
well, he can't
Yeah,
fake
he-
Excalibur. He would still die. Holy weapon. That's Cloudbolg. But once more, a little inside knowledge there for you. But Archer has all of humanity's weapons, give or take, at his disposal, which matches Gilgamesh's power beautifully.
Better
And
than Gilgamesh's.
Hmm?
It's better than Gilgamesh's.
Gilgamesh has the originals. Shiro/Archer has to see Gilgamesh's to copy them.
Shiro and Archer also have to like, you know, chant the thing to actually beat Gil.
They do have to chant the thing.
Oh,
It's the-
yeah.
oh, that one. The other one.
Yeah. I am the bone of my sword is still my favorite.
The bone of my sword.
That is okay. Please don't invoke the German dub ever again.
Come on, that was pretty spot on. You know it.
The German dub makes me want to kill myself. So, by the way, guys, if you ever have a little bit of free time, watch the UBW crappy Dean movie, but in German dub, because my lord, is that incredible.
Or watch the German opening to Naruto.
Watch the German opening to Naruto. Man, so good. But the point I'm making about Archer and Shiro is that Archer's, like, to me, why Archer is such a great character, and it should be noted that Archer is my favorite character in all of anime, is that he seems conflicted as to what he wants throughout the entire show. When he, like, by the end of the show, his goal is, alright, fuck it, I'm killing the kid, and if I kill him, maybe, just maybe, I won't have to exist anymore. But the whole time before that, you can see him just trying to change Shiro's mind. Every conversation they have before that, where he could have killed Shiro or could have taken advantage of him, he just shows up and says, yo, your ideals are shit. Stop it. No, this is another reason why your ideals are bad. Stop doing that thing. But the whole time, he's still helping Shiro develop his powers. He's still helping him heal from the negative side effects of swordcraft, which is all they're good for. But by the end, he gives up on that entirely and just says, nope, killing him. I'm done. I quit. I can't change you. then I'll just kill you, and therefore I will never have to exist. And I do love that he didn't just show up with the whole goal of, I'm just going to kill the kid and move on. He tried everything first and then said, all right, let's go. Done.
Yeah, I did like they're definitely, you do see the transition where he's like, that's it, that was the last straw, like, I'm done, it's time to switch sides, I'm fucking killing him.
I'm killing the kid. Can't do it. Another plot point I really want to talk about, and this was for the first time not going to be a discussion of like UBW versus the other arcs or anything, is just the fact that something I really enjoyed is that the sheer strength of Berserker is the reason that the rest of the plot even happened, because Caster's amassing her army because nobody can fight Berserker by themselves. Everybody's making alliances because nobody can fight Berserker by themselves. Everything is happening, Caster's entire debacle, them having to fight Caster and beat Caster, all of it, because nobody can beat Berserker by themselves. And in the end, nobody beats Berserker.
Another... Yeah. Huh.
Going somewhere there?
Nah, never mind. I was gonna bring it back to an old conversation, but nah.
Just moving on.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I can bring it up now that we took this time out.
Now I'm just standing here waiting.
Briefly, I just wanted to mention, I think Assassin really cool. Like, he was really cool. I liked that Saber, like, Shiro lost Saber. Like, I don't think that happened in the original.
It doesn't happen in the Fate path, it happens in the UBW movie. They're different paths.
Yeah.
You can't compare the plot lines to each other, as they're completely different plots, essentially.
It's been
Essentially,
so long,
in the visual novel, you make different decisions that branch off into these different story paths, but they all start at the same place.
So, essentially, it's the same premise, different stories. So, go on.
Nah, I forgot.
You lost Saber.
I also think that was really great. Like, that was... I mean, Saber's face, the way it was just drawn there and everything and animated, was just so soul-crushingly sad. And, like, oh man, that was like a soul-crushing moment. And it really threw me for a flip. Like, that came out of nowhere. And it happened so fast.
Oh, I mean, all of it. The worst part is that episode, the entire episode until that point, is this adorable date that Rin and Shiro are having. And Saber's tagging along because she might as well, I guess. She likes food. She got a lot of free food out of that date, so it worked out. But Rin asks Shiro out on a date just to mess with him almost, but also because she has some interest in him, and he definitely has interest in her. So it's like an actual, like, real life kind of, like, wow, this isn't making me want to kill myself levels of both of them sitting in a corner, nobody acknowledging feelings ever. But after that date, that whole episode, that whole, like, nearly an hour of episode was like a cute date. And then Caster happens, and then Saber's lost, and then Shiro's been stabbed, and then Rin and Archer tell Shiro to quit and just give up on everything because he's not useful anymore. And it's just this whole huge, and that's the half-series finale, it's the season finale there. And that whole thing is the turning point of the show, and as Allan dubbed it, the beginning of Unlimited Blade Works.
Yeah, because it's very similar to the original show up until that point.
With the exception
Like,
of... Well, I guess not.
A few deaths, a few changes.
Yeah.
A very few changes, but for the most part, yeah, nothing major changes until then. And
oh, yeah, go ahead.
no, go, just go.
I was gonna change the subject, so if you still have...
Yeah, go for it. Nah, I'm done.
Alright. I was gonna say this after my Shiro question, but we kind of got sidetracked into many things.
It's good. It's a good show to talk
I
about.
actually want to know, like, what you guys think of his conclusion.
Shiro's or Archer's?
Shiro's conclusion. And I guess Archer's, because Archer kind of agrees with him in the end.
Alright, so I'm going to go first here, because I know I can probably sway thoughts, because I have the most knowledge of all of you on this one, except for Allan, who asked the question. UBW is my favorite path of all of the Fate universe. It's my favorite part of the Fate universe, and fun fact, I love Fate a lot, and UBW is one of my favorite just things in all of existence. I love the answer Shiro comes to because it's not the extreme answer I expected him to come to. The entire time he's fighting Archer, he refuses to acknowledge Archer's regrets or his sadness or his pain. The whole time he even spouts, even though you're right, it doesn't mean, or even though you're correct, it doesn't mean you're right. And is almost swearing that he will become Archer out of spite to his future self. Which, while fun, is a terrible idea.
Honestly, I thought that I did not like that line.
Oh no, it's a Shiro line. It's a Shiro line all the way, my friend.
Yeah.
No matter the series. No matter the series.
We just got out of people die when they are killed, yet we have just because you're correct doesn't mean you're right.
And don't you worry, people have made the connection. But I think we need at least one Shiro-esque line a show. Also, the Archer class truly is made up of archers. I'm just putting it out there. But by the end, you see subtle changes. He still wants to be a hero of justice. He still wants to go help people, not quite mindlessly, but still to a more extreme effect than most people would want to. But there's one difference, is he's keeping Rin by his side. Or Rin's keeping him by hers, depending on what they're doing at the time. In the epilogue, you have Rin and Shiro deciding what they're going to do for the rest of their lives, and how they're going to do it. And Shiro still wants to travel the world. He still wants to, implied, be a mercenary. And try to help people, and try to change lives, and try to save people. But in the ending, in the final post-credits shot, you see Shiro walking in a desert for some reason. But that final shot, which is far too blurry and needs to be fixed, he smiles. He's happy with his life choices. He wasn't betrayed by his ideals because he didn't follow them to the extreme this time. And he doesn't become Archer. And I think I love the fact that he stuck by his ideals, but didn't suicide himself to do it.
Yeah. It's like a very subtle thing there at the end, though. But, like, I'm glad having that explanation from you guys.
Yeah, it just, for me, and I realized, how did you guys feel about it without that explanation, Tom or Steven? And then I guess we're going to have to sign off around that time.
It felt a little flat.
Explain.
Okay, I had it explained to me from you because I forgot the last two episodes to watch them. So just from what you told me, it sounds like, hey, everything's wrapped up together, nice little package, and we're gonna ship it out.
You hate happy endings.
Happy. Oh my god, yeah, no, nothing in
yeah,
life that happens ends happily.
Happy endings.
I mean, okay, I also hate happy endings for the most part.
That's not true. I know you.
No, I do. I really hate happy endings. What do you mean you know me?
You love cute shit.
Okay, yes, I love cute shit, but that doesn't mean, like, if there's a dark show, it needs to have a happy ending.
All
like,
right, fair enough.
I'm like so over happy endings to like everything. It's like, oh god. But that's a whole other tangent. But this, I don't know. I think this kind of needed not necessarily a happy ending, but it definitely needed to be wrapped up. Just because, like, this is the end of the Grail War. Like, that's what happened. Like, it's over now.
Like, wrapped up is fine, but like there's a certain catharsis that you can get out of a happy ending. Like, I got that from Erased. Erased had a pretty happy ending at the end of it, and I was like, that's fantastic. I feel good about this. This, I don't feel needs one. It doesn't feel more complete now that it has just told us that Shiro's not going to become Archer, and
I think I disagree, because that's
after.
the whole point of the arc. That's the whole point of the story, is Shiro versus Archer, Shiro and Archer, the dichotomy between Shiro and Archer. I think that needs a conclusion, more so than just the Grail War. I think Shiro's character arc needs a conclusion.
I will say, I think it needed the conclusion because I think we needed to know, like, hey, did he become, like, it would have tortured me not knowing. Like, and I wouldn't have known had you not told me, because, like, I think it was a little too subtle in the show.
They needed to smile out wider.
I do think it needed the conclusion, but even more so, I think the epilogue was actually very important because it just kind of establishes, like, the Grail War happened, now we're just going back to normal life. And, like, that's really powerful to me in a way. It's a kind of beautiful and just it's just a beautiful happy ending in a way, but also I don't know how to really articulate what I'm trying to say, and I'm so sorry, but like it's beautiful and also kind of anticlimactic in a way.
I'm fine with like an anticlimactic ending. However, they don't go back to normal life from what Jovan says.
They do.
They do. Like Rin,
They go back to normal
they-
life and then decide where they're going to go from there.
They become mercenaries and
You don't
normal life.
implied.
it's implied, yeah. What you see in the epilogue is Rin like goes to this magic school, like college in London, and takes Shido on to the college as well as her apprentice, and then they actually offer Shido the chance to be like his own mage in the college, and he turns it down. He's like, no, that's not what I want to do with my life. And so then like you just get this moment with the two of them deciding together, like, well, okay, then Rin says, well, okay, I'll leave too and go with you. And like it's kind of anticlimactic and romantic, but it was beautiful. I don't know.
It was really nice.
It's
Tom,
just
I
a
asked
normal
that you
life.
Go back and watch those episodes before you judge the ending based on the description.
Yeah, I mean, I plan to.
Because I think I might have sold it a bit low, and I do apologize for that.
We should go wrap up now. But yeah.
Alrighty. So, final thoughts and ratings. We don't have a new page for this yet. I'm working on it. It's going to be up the next episode. I'm sorry, guys. So, final thoughts and ratings. Do you or do you not, after all the discussion, recommend the show? I think I'll kick it off. Yes. It should be noted that Unlimited Blade Works is my favorite franchise of all things, and therefore I'm a little bit biased in this. However, this comes with a stigma that I've said like 3 or 4 times this whole show. Watch the original Fate first if you really want to. I don't think that's 100% necessary. It's probably not necessary. It's not necessary at all. I'm ignoring Thomas. I'm used to it. But watch Fate Zero first. I say that out of the wholeness of my heart because I like Unlimited Blade Works better than Fate Zero, and therefore I don't care about the secrets that come from Unlimited Blade Works to Fate Zero nearly as much. Watch Fate Zero first, then watch Unlimited Blade Works. Unlimited Blade Works will be a much better... Thomas, can you cut it out, please? Unlimited Blade Works will be a much better show for it. And it is already a fantastic show. On top of that, the soundtrack, the animation, the voice acting, all of it is top-notch and will be the top-notch, the standard that everything in the future is going to be set to, because I don't think I've ever watched anything more beautiful, sounds more beautiful, the voice acting better than Fate. Or than Unlimited Blade Works, at least. And it truly is something to be worth watching. Also, because none of us have mentioned him before, and I have to mention it now, Lancer's great. I really love Kahalan. He's my favorite hero in all of mythology. Yay. So it's a strong recommendation from me on the stigma that you watch Fate Zero first, and that you watch Heaven's Feel when it comes out, assuming it's good.
Alright. I guess the original order was me next, right? I
sure.
also I strongly recommend it. I don't necessarily think that you have to watch Fate Zero first, but if you do, it'll be all the better for it. I think that the animation is brilliant, and they pay a lot of attention to like smaller details such as facial expressions and whatnot. The soundtrack is a little bit underused, but the actual soundtrack is great. And the characters are really good. They're all likable in their own ways, depending on what you're into. Shiro is usually the biggest turnoff for people, but I think they did Shiro really well in this. I think they showed just how flawed he is really well. And yeah, so strongly recommend moving on.
I'd give this a very good recommendation as well. I wanted to quickly mention a couple things that we hadn't talked about, but I wanted to at least like put it out there. The opening for the first half was it was like generic. I didn't really like it too much. The second opening I liked a lot, but I didn't like either of them as much as I liked the opening to the original show, which was Disillusion. But they came back to that, in the in this, which was a pretty cool call out to the original show, but it was with a different singer, and I didn't like its version as much. And then quickly I liked Caster. I thought she looked cool. I didn't really care for her backstory. I liked Assassin, the samurai. He was awesome. I loved his move. His move was my favorite of anyone's in the show, and I think that's all. Oh, and I thought the voice acting was it was good. It was good. The animation was good, but like the animation was fantastic actually. The voice acting I didn't think was anything to write home about, but it was more than passable. It was
definitely good.
Maybe exceptional, but it wasn't like top tier. Anyway, I have to go like right now. Actually, I'm sorry, but finish the rest of that. We were watching Tatami Galaxy. Steven, take it away.
Yeah,
where
I
our faces about to go?
That's bad.
Oh no! All right, Steven, just
Hurry up, Steven.
all right, our faces are gonna go random
overlay.
places, but Steven, just go.
Oh boy, that's okay. Well, I think I kind of wish Tom was still here for this, but no, Brave Shine is amazing. The second opening, oh man, like every time that plays, it's just it's epic in a way, you know. Brave Shine is great. But yeah, I would give this a strong recommendation. Usually I factor in a lot of like genre recommendations here. Not for this show. Like, you're not gonna hurt by watching this show. Like, I truly believe everyone could enjoy this show. Unless you're like super against violence or something. Like, I really think anyone could enjoy this
fair
show.
enough. When Archer stabs Shira in the leg, I always cringe because it looks really painful.
This is super
Which
violent.
stabbing is, to be fair.
I mean,
it's
come
the only
on.
time the show acknowledges not anime bodies. But
There's super gross, like, Shinji turning into the monster and hearts
even
being
then,
ripped out.
it's not out of place,
It's not.
and it's not grotesque for grotesqueness' sake.
I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that's
I
the
know,
one
I know.
case I could consider where this would probably not entertain you. Because this show truly is a masterpiece. And I would recommend watching Fate Zero first. I also don't think it's 100% necessary. But again, you're not going to hurt by watching that. It's, I would say of equal quality, honestly. UBW might be a little higher quality, but like Fate Zero is also phenomenal. And yeah, it's just a matter of time, really. We're a few years down the road now. And, shoot. Yeah, just make sure you get past the first episode of Fate Zero because it's an hour of just talking. But
I don't think there's a single negative review of Fate Zero ever given, so I'm sure anybody
Yeah.
who's going to watch it will do fine.
Yeah.
All right. With all that in mind, let's talk about next week. Thomas had to sign off because he had an emergency, or not emergency, he had an appointment at 7, which we kind of put him on a little bit of a hard time for, so I'll talk about it for him, I guess. Tatami Galaxy is coming up next. Now, I'm actually the opposite of excited to watch this show because I haven't been able to get past the first episode twice. That said, I know this is Thomas's all-time favorite, so somebody else, give me a reason why I want to watch it.
Well, I don't know much about it. I watched the first episode and I'm really excited to watch it because like it's fast and like
It's so fast.
it seems ridiculous. It definitely seems ridiculous. I don't know where the plot's going to go at all. But I think it's just ridiculous, and I think the biggest shtick is they talk extremely fast, and I don't know. I just really love that. It's
For all of our audience out there, if you're not a fast reader, you might have to pause every so often. They go fast.
Or if
I
you know
guess-
Japanese, it's fine.
If you know Japanese, very well. If you are a fluent native Japanese speaker.
I've been taking Japanese for 4 years, and I cannot get a single word out of this, man.
Because all
It's
Tatami Galaxy is
hard.
spoken like as if everything's going this fast, and you have to go this fast, and sometimes it goes even faster, and why is everything happening? Help. So,
But it's one of those highly narrated shows, though, and like
Yeah.
that's where the speaking fast comes from. And I'm personally really into that, like the narration over everything. So that's what this is. At least the first episode was.
it also has a unique animation style that I can actually get behind. It's very strange,
Yeah.
but it's not unpleasant.
But yeah, next time.
That's next time. All right. With all of that, expect to see a few extra uploads this week as we try to catch back up on schedule, as the winter months hurt us a little bit due to breaks and different setups happening and whatsoever. So we should be catching up, and by next week our YouTube should be fully up and functional. Also expect a few more episodes coming up on the gaming channel. Expect a new overlay coming up here, and just expect 2017 to be a wonderful year for WeTaku. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Drown in your ideals and die.